Welcome inside Memphis' home for Talkin Hoops. You're watching Talkin Grizz. I'm your host, Kelcey Wright Johnson. Each week, we will bring on the city's most prominent and amazing basketball minds to talk everything recent happening with the Grizzlies. So let's dive right in. I'm going to introduce my guests. To my very right is the GOAT that we just found out on Instagram Live, Mike Wallace, senior editor, contributor, and analyst with Grind City Media.
What's going on? Glad to be here.
Repping your shirt for tomorrow's
Absolutely.
game, right?
HBC Unite, yes, Friday. Grizzlies in action. HBC Unite represent your historically black colleges and universities.
There you go. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Right beside Mr. Wallace is Jared Boyd, a reporter with the Daily Memphian, among other things, right?
Among other things. DJ downtown at Central Station, playing all vinyl, all Memphis music, all Memphis related music.
Does that include Drake?
Actually, you know what? Yeah,
Great
it does.
question, right?
I haven't played it yet, but I gotta get the records in my hand. So once I get them, then yeah, we'll be playing it. I promise. And then also host of the Bill Street Caravan on NPR.
There we go.
Yeah.
Plug yourself whenever you can.
Do the best that I can.
And of course, to my left, my BFF, social media wizard, meme god, Devon Marquette Walker.
Yes, you got meme god.
Meme god.
Can I add that to my title?
Yes.
I'll put it in my bio.
I'm going to talk, no, just add it to your bio like on your card. I'm going to talk to our bosses
I
about
got
it.
Shout out, meme god.
Meme god. Do you agree with that?
I am
Meme
the
god?
meme god.
We'll see.
Meme god.
Meme goat.
We're just throwing goat
I
around
like meme
really
goat
loosely.
better than meme god.
Meme goat?
Yeah,
Meme goat sounds so weird.
Goat meme? No, meme goat. We're gonna go with meme goat.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it.
Yeah.
He's a social media gentleman for
Workshop.
Grind City Media and
Yes.
the Memphis Grizzlies. Thank you guys for all being here. Let's dive in.
Let's go.
The Grizzlies are not coming off the hottest streak right now.
It's been
It's been 3 games. So when I was watching the Lakers game, I think everyone would maybe agree. One of the highlights wasn't on the basketball court. It was the fact that Travis Kelce and Jonas Valanciunas were finally in the same room together, because there has been rumors for years that they were just the same person. So we tweeted out. You guys can turn over your tweets. I know Devon is upset about this one, but we tweeted out, look, they're in the same room. Finally, the Super Bowl champ and Jonas Valanciunas. Devin Walker put together a video, has over 9.3 million views.
That's what I was waiting for. There we go. I like that.
Wow.
How do you guys feel about this? Does everyone feel like we can all take a breath? They're different people.
I mean, I want to give a shout out to first of all, I want to give a shout out to the TV department for our guys at Fox Sports to even put the 2 shot together for us to create this viral moment. So shout out to them first of all. Second of all, we've been wondering, are they the same person? Are they brothers? It's like, this is like the brother that you like is the calm, cool, collected, clean cut brother, and this is the brother that like hangs out in like certain places you don't want him to hang out in.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce's the other brother. So yeah, I'm glad this viral moment happened because we
Sure.
did, like you mentioned, 9.3 million views. Shout out. Like I said, meme god. Viral god too. Shout out.
Shout out to yourself. Huh?
Shout out to this. Shout out to this.
I like the color coordination. I'm someone who looks at the sidelines very much when I'm watching television and when I'm watching games. And away games is like, it's almost even like more of a challenge. Like I Spy when you were a kid, you know what I mean? When you're looking through the book, or Where's Waldo? I'm looking for Memphians, or that might be like expats living in Los Angeles, or people who are connected to Memphis, But I dug this moment, and I dig like I said, the color coordination, this cream on cream action with the guy next to him.
Swaggy.
Yeah, I definitely would hang out with this guy for sure.
Speaking of goat or sheep or whatever that concoction is that he has on his sweater, it is dope. I give you credit for pointing that out. The sunglasses inside, you got to go with that. You love it. But
That's
what
dope.
stands out to me, being a fellow beard aficionado, beard guy, man, the beards are immaculate between these 2 guys, and they do look alike. But as you pointed out before we came on air, the guy sitting to Kelce's left, this looks like a souped up, cooled out Greg Popovich to me.
Yeah, he looks, that's what I'm saying. He looks like Charles Lloyd, who was a saxophone player from Memphis, and he lives in Los Angeles, and I was thinking,
I
was like, that would be cool, but you know what? It's actually not the first time that I thought that I've seen that same person.
Yeah.
And so I probably should stop looking for him. That's me being a music nerd. Deep cut there.
I love viral moments though. This created one of the biggest viral moments of this for us personally. It's one of the biggest viral moments because it had that crossover, and it's the crossover between my guy Roser mentioned this to me the other day. A crossover between the NFL and the NBA. So you put those two things together, they merge, boom.
And I heard they talked to each other after the game.
You have 9.3 million.
That would have been a really good moment too of them like touching.
That looks like tear a hole in the ozone layer with two of them standing next to each other. It's almost like, you remember the meme, get you somebody that can do both? You know, you got Sweat and Suit. Remember that Nelly album, Sweat and Suit? Yeah,
this is
I
a
feel
Sweat and
that.
Suit album.
Or the Spider-Man meme.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
They
with
point
their-
at one another.
yeah.
That's a good one there too.
Yeah, meme god. You missed one there.
That was the caption. So
Oh.
I mean, if we would have put the actual tweet here, we would have saw it. But it's okay. Still love you, Kelce.
Yeah.
I tweeted it first. Okay, speaking of other lookalikes, we're going to dive into the Memphis Grizzlies lookalikes now. I have done some deep diving yesterday. It took me a couple hours to come up with these three, so
I'm excited for this.
tell me what you think, folks. Zoom in on me right here. Number one. I'm really sorry to do this to Grayson Allen. But what do you guys think? Grayson Allen, Ted Cruz.
Oh, that's a tough one.
You know what?
I get that a 10. That's a 10. That's a 10.
They definitely.
Oh yeah, give me
Yeah,
rate it.
we got to score this like the dunk contest.
Yeah.
As
I'm not gonna be Dwayne Wade though.
As people in Memphis say, they definitely favor. They definitely favor.
So give
I
me a
mean,
number.
the cheek line, the nose line, the eyes are slanted at just the right angle. The left ear for great, or the right ear, depending on how you're looking at it.
Ted's a lot less confident. He's feigning confidence. He looks like he wants to convey confidence. Grayson's owning it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I give it a 10. And even Ted Cruz himself has like pointed fun to himself about this comparison. Someone tweeted a photo and somebody said, "Send us proof of Ted Cruz playing basketball."
Yeah.
Ted Cruz responded
With a picture of
with a
Grayson.
picture of Grayson Allen. So I think they've embraced it. I give it a 10, Kelce. Good job.
10? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, folks.
Ted can hoop too. Have you seen him dunk?
What?
He missed, but it was close. It was
On
close.
a regulation rim?
No. It was
okay.
it was a terrible thing. But you should
Okay.
look that up. Look
Okay.
up Ted Cruz dunking.
I am not as confident with this one because I put the worst one in the middle. So tell me what you think. Number two, Kyle Anderson and Jesse Williams.
Huh?
Time out. Hold on.
I said it wasn't a good
That's
one.
a young Kyle Anderson.
Yeah, that's
too.
a very young
This is like
picture
he
of
could
him.
grow into this, you know?
Ooh.
Perhaps. This is another deep cut. Reminds me of Robert Richard from One on One.
Look, man. Look, Kelce, you can't dive to a picture from Kyle Anderson when he was like 12.
Yeah. Then who,
That's some deep research.
Yeah.
though.
Who
She
gave-
said she was looking it up for
This
all
man
night.
has
Did
braces.
you find that on Facebook?
He has braces.
Yeah, where'd you get that?
Yeah.
You know what, guys?
LinkedIn.
But who
That
gave
ain't-
that?
that ain't-
Who
that
gave
ain't
a
even
12-year-old
Facebook.
child bleach for his hair?
No, but could it be like he could, like, young Kyle
Like, we don't know
could
if he was
have
12, though. I mean, that could have been
He
like.
looks pretty young. Like, look at
We just assigning 12 years old. to-
12.
I'm gonna go with 12. I'm gonna go with 12. We can
Okay,
lock
do I
in at
get
12.
numbers? Rate it for me.
I'll give you a 6 on that one.
I'll take a 6,
I'll give you a
actually.
6.
I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8.
I mean, you got
An
the light.
eight?
An 8. I'll give it an 8.
The light skin works.
Wade in this situation, you get a 4.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go 3, to be honest.
You got the light skin tone correct. That's about
the
it.
eyes, and kind of like the face shape, like the chin is like, you
Yeah,
know.
They both look jovial.
Hey,
Great
I'm gonna
word.
reach out for that one because that's a.
I know.
that one
But I
was a-
am confident with this one. This is why I'm ending with this
Hey,
one.
you
really
need to
hope-
come with a bang on this one. You need to come
Yeah.
strong.
I don't even
hoping
care what
for
you guys think. This one's a 10 for me.
Please.
Dusty Hannah's
Oh no.
Come on.
and J Beebs.
Ah.
Okay. We can do that one.
Especially when they had their mustaches.
Huh.
And the hair too. Jake Beebs used to have hair like that too. When I took my daughter to see him when he first came out.
I'm
So I'ma
confident with
go-
this one.
I could do that one.
I'm gonna go a good 8.
Yeah, that's a.
He
That's
gave me an 8 on the last one. The last one was horrible.
a 7.
Okay, that's higher.
Yeah, I think it's 7. But I appreciate the bone structure.
Yeah,
That
the cheek
works.
line
Yeah, that
works.
works.
They have
yeah.
the same nose.
I love that you did a deep dive for this though. That's what I appreciate.
Yeah.
The research you had to do to put this together.
We're strong.
It
strong.
did take
And you
time.
forgot the most, one of the biggest ones on the team.
What?
I see it in the mentions all the time.
What?
I see it in the comments all the time. Ja Morant,
And?
Little Nas X.
Yes.
Oh.
Really?
I see it in the comments at least twice a game.
Let me
Little Nas X.
Yeah.
What is? I need to look it up.
Look it up right now. Ja
see it.
Morant and Lil
Hold
Nas
up.
X.
Lil Nas X is the one.
Got the horses in the bag.
What? No.
Yeah, I can see that.
Jared, you see it?
I can see that. I can see
I
that.
see it all the
Oh
time.
my gosh.
You
Can-
see it?
I don't know how
Bro.
close you can get to this.
No.
I mean, I personally don't think they look
Zoom?
alike, but I mean, there's some people in the comments that
I
feel
can
like
see
they
it.
do
I
look
can
alike.
see it.
I'm not.
I bet Nas would embrace it.
He
Oh,
probably
of course.
definitely
Would
would.
Ja,
Of
though?
course. Nah.
Yeah.
Nah,
they're
Ja
both.
be
They're
like,
both.
I'm good.
They're both
Nah.
rookies of the year.
They are both
See, we
rookies of
missed
the
the
year.
obvious one though. We
Okay.
missed the obvious one.
What?
You gotta go. And I know at least one person on this panel is going to totally agree with me on this one. You gotta go, my man, Devin Walker. and my other guy, Utah Jazz guard, Donovan Mitchell.
You
No question
You
about
know
it.
what?
Don't you think?
No question. And we
Oh,
have the
this is
photo
already
proof,
established.
too.
Yeah, it's been established.
It's been established.
We
No
met
question.
we met at All Star 2018. He even double take when he saw me. He was like, "Whoa!" I was like, no, we're not related, are we? But no, we're not related. But yeah, I'll take that one. That's a good one.
And I got
because
one
he's an
more.
All Star.
I got one more.
Yo, Mike came
and
prepared.
this one might get us fired. But I'm
Please don't get us fired.
gonna go my man Jason Wexler, Grizzlies
gosh.
president,
Oh no.
and John Stamos.
Oh, wait, that's a compliment, though.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go those two.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think
Okay,
that
that's
might work.
definitely a good one.
I
Okay.
think
John
that might
Stamos
work.
is like hunky. Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
Okay, yeah, I like that one. Shout out Wex.
Yeah,
There
shout
we
out
go.
Wex,
There we-
man.
See, I did my homework.
Yeah.
My
Y'all
man.
see, challenged us to come and do some homework and bring it to the table. What y'all got?
Hey.
I brought mine. I said Lil Nas X, Ja Morant.
Okay.
He didn't get my email, apparently.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right.
Get lost in the spam.
It got a lot. Yeah,
It actually did.
It did hit. Yeah, it hit the junk. It hit the junk. But you know, I pay attention to the lookalikes too.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
You came with the guy beside Travis Kelce.
Yeah, Charles Lloyd, absolutely. And these sweaters look very much alike, but also look very, very much swaggy and creamy. I need to start traveling with guys who will, you know, sort of color coordinate my thing. Both shades indoors, both head to toe in off-white.
Yeah.
How can you beat that? That's LA living right there.
That is LA living. Travis Kelce is cool. I suggest you follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, dig the chains, earring, all
You
that.
guys want to talk about basketball now instead of just lookalikes?
Sure.
Now this was pretty fun. That's cute.
Yeah, that's true.
Who else
This
looks
is
alike?
This is right down my alley. I'm here for it.
Who do I look like? Do I have a celebrity look like?
Nah,
I'm
man,
gonna
right there.
marinate on that one.
What?
Yeah, we need
I'm
a
gonna
little,
marinate on that one.
Oh, I
we-
thought you
we
said Marilyn
need a
Monroe,
little
and I was
more.
like, are you?
we need a little more
Hi.
preparation time
Okay.
for that. We
Yeah,
got
yeah,
you
for
next
sure,
show.
for sure.
All right, let's look at the last three games then, folks. So we look behind at the week that was February 20th, 4-point loss to the Kings. Following that, the next day, 12-point loss to the Lakers. And then the last game was a 27-point loss to the full-strength Clippers. Let's start at the Kings, though, guys. It was not a pretty first couple quarters. The Memphis Grizzlies pushed and tried for the comeback. Obviously, didn't quite get it. What was the most impressive thing about that comeback, or almost comeback? Mike?
I was hoping you were going to start elsewhere because technically I was somewhere in the Caribbean Sea cruising and I didn't have access to that particular game.
That is fair.
I saw it on the other side of it. But I think the fact that I've been in Sacramento the last 4 or 5 trips there, and those games always play out the same way. The Grizzlies either get a big lead and squander it, or they fall way behind and try to rally and come up just short. So it played completely the script. One other trend that I've noticed too is that De'Aaron Fox just seems to be a more experienced, bigger, stronger version of Ja Morant. He's almost treating Ja like his little brother in those matchups. And that's something that I think Ja's going to learn from and grow from. But that was one of those games the Grizzlies had to win if they wanted to make this trip a successful trip.
You know, as a fan, you know, I was really like crossing my fingers like, man, I hope that the Grizzlies are getting some rest during the All-Star weekend. You know, I hope that our young team that, you know, of those who traveled got to experience some of it, but won't come back with any kind of lag, you know, sort of to see that stage and want to work harder and get through these last, 28 games after the break. And, you know, with 3 really, really tough losses, you know, I know we're just talking about Sacramento right now, but from where I sat, I had some hope after. I was like, okay, it was, you know, we almost got it done in the end, or at least we made a good push for it. So, you know, I hope we pick it up. You know what I mean? That's the best I can say, you know.
I'm going to go in the Sacramento game. The big thing for me was the bench production. Like, you had at least 50 points off the bench. Josh Jackson showed up. Tyus Jones showed up again.
D'Anthony
Milton
Melton
had a career high in that game.
Yeah.
For me, that was the biggest bright spot because you did, like you said, De'Aaron Fox. We talked about Spider-Man meme. Ja Morant is a Spider-Man meme to De'Aaron Fox. So it was a hard matchup for him in that game. So we saw Ja kind of get frustrated, kind of get flustered. They even called a carry on him twice.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that all year.
I haven't seen that like in an NBA game in a while.
Exactly.
A
And I was
carry?
like, well.
We don't
so-
even see travels. Didn't we see that one play?
Shout out to Paul George. But in that game, I think for me the biggest highlight was the bench production because you've seen all season that bench kind of lift you up when the starters were down, and you needed an uplift. When like you said, they got down early. That bench came in, did what they had to do, uplifted them, just couldn't pull it out.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think we need to talk about these 3 games anymore, so let's move forward. I had more questions.
Man, we only got through one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Either the Lakers game was mad. The Clippers game was Superman.
Yeah, we just skipped the Clippers.
We're
game.
skipping
we
it, and we're going to go forward.
It's like the Men in Black thing, you know?
What?
You know the Men in Black pen?
Oh, we need the pen to just go.
Yeah. Hey, Kimball, can you do that? Can you put the effect
Ready?
on the camera?
On the count of 3. 1, 2.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, let's look ahead
Yeah.
at the week that is coming up, which starts tonight against the Houston Rockets. They are 4th in the West. And then coming back home against the Kings and the Lakers back-to-back, like we just saw them away, but this one will be at FedEx Forum. And then March 2nd against the Atlanta Hawks, are 14th in the East. So when we look at tonight's game, all the injuries that the Grizzlies have right now, Jaren Jackson Jr. is out, Grayson Allen's out. We still haven't gotten to see Justin Winslow. And the Rockets are fully committed now to the small ball. How do we get the win? Is the win even plausible right now?
It's possible. I've seen this team. I've been around long enough to see this team have the nasty 9 period where they 3-4 years ago they were shorthanded, came in, Golden State Warriors came in coming off that championship run, and Andrew Harrison and a bunch of guys off the bench put together a victory over the Golden State Warriors here. So it can happen, but it's going to be an extremely difficult task because we don't have any, really, outside of Jonas, there's not a dominant rebounder or a dominant guy that can be athletic to run the floor and flush lobs from Ja Morant or whoever else is going to throw him at this point. When you're missing Brandon Clark and Jaren Jackson, I tweeted it out yesterday, that you're talking about 30 points, about 12 rebounds, and almost 3 blocks a game. That's a lot to have to cover up.
Them combined?
Yes, combined. That's a lot to have to overcome, especially when the rest of your rotation is guys that aren't used to playing the kind of minutes that they've been playing lately.
Sure. Well, we get a bit more of a look at some guys that we haven't been able to see a whole lot from. Right?
Yeah.
So at least if we aren't looking towards victory, I guess looking at seeing these guys get some PT and getting some reps, and I'm excited about that. But it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to sit and watch. But that would make a win all the better. Though.
Yeah. I mean, Jordan Bell, Gorgie Jang, some of these new guys, or guys that have been extended on the bench will get some time, and hopefully they can put together.
Yeah, like you talk about that rallying around mentality. We talked about on episode 1 how the big thing for this team has been chemistry. The chemistry has been keeping those guys together, and I think for them to see two of their big guys go down for injury, I think it's a situation where they look at each other and say, all right, it's us in this locker room. We're in Houston. We lost 3 games in a row. Let's go back home with the dub. And I think we're gonna see a different team tonight. I personally think we're gonna see a different team because the last 3 games they've come out dragging. Right. Clippers came out dragging. Lakers came out dragging. Kings came out dragging. I think they know that they've read the clippings. We have a young team. They read the internet, so I think they've read that. They understand it. I think they come out guns a-blazing. I do think the way Houston plays with the spacing, the 5 out, is more of a street ball kind of aspect. It kind of works into Ja's favor because we've seen him. He's a magician in the open court. So I think tonight's going to be a game where we see Ja kind of have another Ja game. Not one of those games where we look up, he has 18, 1 assist. I think we see like a 25-8 because he's, like you said, Jordan Bell, lobs, Gorgie Jang. I've never seen him catch a lob until he got to Memphis. He caught one from Ja. I was like, oh, he can jump. So I see Gorgie in the open court. You still have guys that can get out and run with him. Josh Jackson has been phenomenal last 3 games. Really, so you get him out there, DeAnthony Melton. You still have guys. Yeah. You have your two guys out.
DeAnthony Melton on the lob though, that's 50-50.
Yeah, he's been a little iffy. His legs give out on him.
Much better catching it than throwing it.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
For sure.
So you have guys that can still run, and I think the street ball aspect to the Houston Rockets play, they've been on fire though. I mean, they won 4 in a row. That small ball thing is humming. But I think the street ball aspect to tonight's game, I think that can work in the Grizzlies' favor.
And one last thing real quick, though, on that is that this is the first time the Grizzlies are catching these guys full strength. Remember, Russell Westbrook didn't play the first 2 times that the Grizzlies played against the Houston Rockets. Same thing with the Clippers, the last game. I mean, they caught a shorthanded Clippers the first couple times. The Clippers were full strength in Los Angeles on Monday. So the Grizzlies are catching these teams now that are just starting to get healthy at a time when they're sort of losing their health. One thing that concerns me about tonight, though, is that you got a lot of guys that are going to have to, stay out of foul trouble now.
Yes.
Because James Harden and Russell Westbrook will rack up some fouls, and we don't have a lot of depth.
Right, that's true.
Okay, that brings me to my next point. Both of your points put together. This is the first time we will see Westbrook and Ja go head-to-head.
Yes.
Obviously, him coming out of college last year, this was the biggest comparison. I don't think Ja loves it. What do you guys think? Are you excited to see them go head-to-head?
That's one of the things with coming into the season. That was one of the circled matchups. I have the Ja kind of comparison, like the De'Aaron Foxes, the Russell Westbrooks, the Derrick Roses, the electric point guards. Those matches were the ones I was looking forward to. We didn't see it the first 2 times, like you said. Tonight we get it. Russell Westbrook's been playing out of his mind. His jump shot's finally not as broken. It's still broken, but it's not as broken. But I'm looking forward to see Ja go head-to-head with Russell Westbrook because he knows. I mean, we saw them embrace each other here.
Yeah.
They respect each other. So they're going to go with each other. I'm looking forward to it.
But I think Ja, he's also a player who has something to prove. He's not coming in scared of Russell Westbrook.
No, he said it before. They ran a great feature last night on TNT for the Lakers game.
It must be nice to have TNT.
I know, right? Well, I know. I watched it at a restaurant. Okay. Great restaurant in Memphis, Shout out to Young Avenue Deli.
restaurant.
Shout out to Young Avenue Deli. Great TVs, great food.
Ooh, great sandwiches.
Great sandwiches. Great cheese sticks.
Great fries.
Great fries.
Hey, but they better have a spread here on the next Talkin Grizz.
Young Avenue
They better
Deli.
have a
Tell them bring the jukebox over here, too.
Exactly. All the vibes. But
And those pool tables.
it was. I watched it there, and they ran a feature. It was Steve Nash. It was Trae Young. It was Ja Morant. And he talked to Ja, and Ja just said, I come with a mentality. You put your shoes on, I put my shoes on. I put my jersey on, you put your jersey on. What makes us different? So I think he has that mentality. He's going to come with it tonight. And like I said before, I expect a big game. A big game.
Yeah.
Ja's one of those players that people have compared him to several different types of players. I mean, I hear Max Kellerman throw out several different names that other people wouldn't. When I see the guys on the Ringer talk about Ja, he's such a throwback, and he's such a a chameleon in a sense. And of course, his game at this point is not perfect. There are ways that he can improve, and probably will stretch out and touch some other repertoires that we haven't even seen him yet in year 3, 4, 5. Will adjust and move around. I've never heard anyone compare him to Steve Francis.
That's the guy I was thinking of, too. That's a great comparison.
And you hear Rod Strickland sometimes.
Yes.
I don't see Steve Francis.
Yes,
I like that.
Yeah. Just because Steve Francis had that same swagger, that same I'm coming at you, no matter how big you are, I'm gonna attack, like early Steve Francis. You know what I mean? And this was a guy, I see a lot of that explosiveness. Like Steve would just jump up and he'd get you. Another guy that really you don't see a lot of comparisons, and maybe because he's a little older, but a Kevin Johnson. Remember Kevin Johnson used to sneak up and dunk on guys too, and use that explosive ability. I was in Texas, I think it was Dallas, doing a jog through the streets, and I had my earphones on, my pods on, and I was listening to Tupac, right? Ambitions as a Rider, that song. And I just kept thinking Ja, because if you go back and look at the lyrics of that song, it's basically Ja's mindset when it comes to, Pac was coming in saying, look, I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to kill. I don't care who you are, what you're doing. And that's why Tyson used to enter the ring to that song after he got out of jail, right, for his second reincarnation. Ja's an attacking guy. And I'm saying that because Russell Westbrook has that same sneer in his game. But the thing about Ja that I would like to see him get is a little bit more healthy respect. I wasn't really a fan of him calling out James Harden like that. Hey, somebody better tell him about it. Because this catches up to you in this league real quick, and guys remember that kind of stuff. I love his passion. I love his attack mentality. Just do it on the floor. That's it. Just do it on the floor.
That's the thing. I feel like that's a part of the Ja kind of, what do you call it? Not the character, but like him.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys where you see him off the court, he's happy-go-lucky, he's cracking jokes, he's doing this. But when you get in those 4 lines, he's coming for your head,
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I think it's in his DNA to be like, it's like a different mindset. Like LeBron, you talk about LeBron James. You've been around LeBron.
Yeah.
When LeBron gets on the court with playoff LeBron, it's just zero dark.
Oh yeah, zero dark 30.
And I see it. And I don't say it's in the same frame as LeBron, but you can see that kind of like when I step on this court, it's you and me.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And really, to me, having seen Ja, and I know we got to move on, but seeing Ja over the course of this season, it's really Ja versus Ja. Because even though I said I don't really, I'm really not a fan of him calling out some of the greats yet.
Yeah.
But I also think Ja needs to get himself into that mindset to get his best. I think he needs to be ticked off and pissed off to be the best Ja he can be too.
Yeah.
I don't think the game comes so easily to him that I think he almost has to challenge himself. And it reminds me a lot of how Kobe came in and used to do that with Mike. Like, okay, the only person on this planet that can look at me is Mike Jordan. And that's the only other guy that matters. And I think Ja has some of that when he gets to it. Sorry, Kelce.
No,
we hijacked the show.
Yeah, what's up?
Give us your thoughts, Kelce. Give us your thoughts.
I'm fine.
You get to talk Grizz too.
No, I'm good. You guys were.
Hey, we got one more note, Kelce, before we move on.
No, I want to ask one more question to follow up with what you just said. Were you offended, or however it may be, when Ja came at Kevin and Durant and Steph Curry?
No. You mean
Andre Iguodala.
Andre Iguodala. Well,
yeah. I was a little bit like, okay, guys, listen. The one thing that you don't, I've been listening. I'm an older school guy, right? I've covered the NFL and the NBA. for 2 decades plus now, right? And so what I've learned in these locker rooms, whether it's Shaquille O'Neal in one locker room or whether it's, Ray Lewis and the Baltimore Ravens and other guys in the football locker room is this. 2 things you don't mess with, 2 things you don't comment on if you're a fellow player. A man's wife and spouse, girlfriend, and a man's relationship with the team in the front office. Those are 2 things you don't have anything to do with because your situation is completely different from everybody else's situation. JaMychal Green went through a very, very tense and frustrating negotiation with the Grizzlies when he was a restricted free agent. It would have been out of character for Mike Conley to comment on JaMychal Green holding out or not being able to report or whatever. So I think when you comment on guys' business relationships with the front office, I think that steps a little bit out of line. These guys are young, though. They're going to grow and learn.
That's what I was going to say.
They're going to grow and learn.
They're young because they do kind of take it. We talk about the younger generation. I'm sorry, another deep dive. The younger generation, they're more of a sensitive generation. They're more inclined to like clap back and say like, I'm going to defend myself. And I think the way our guys are on this team, they felt like this dude who is a vet, he's a champion. Why don't you want to play with us?
But that was established.
They felt
I
like
get that.
a slight on them because like
Yeah,
You're right.
You're right.
But that was established. But see, what the thing is, though, with all due respect to the guys who did comment on it, our young guys, they weren't in those negotiations and in those conversations between Iguodala's people and the
But I
Grizzlies
think
front
they were
office.
heard that Iguodala brought it up to the media. Like, he's the one who first
they
brought
were
it up.
like,
But Iguodala, I don't think brought it up in the sense that he was offended by the Grizzlies. He knew from day one that he didn't want to come here. The Grizzlies knew when they acquired him that they weren't going to bring him in. So at the end of the day, just let it play out. And guess what happened? It played out.
in front of everybody.
And then he got crossed over in his first game.
Well,
It played out.
thing-
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
I think particularly this stretch of games has hopefully humbled our locker room a bit. Sort of having that big spark right before the All-Star break and having all that sort of media attention on something that was off the court. And it not necessarily, it sort of left a bad taste in a lot of our mouths, even if you were rooting for our young guys to stand up for our city, which is definitely a Memphis sort of MO. Like we stand, even if somebody wrong, we gonna stand for this and we're gonna take these licks and then we're gonna talk about, hey man, you might shield out.
Look at like the sky could be purple. We're like, man, Memphis, man, the sky's purple.
Yeah. But after all that,
Is that a good thing?
We're gonna ride.
after all that, you're supposed to back it up. You're supposed to back it up, and we're not backing it up right now. So hopefully, when we get back to backing it up, that's the big thing I took away.
Yeah, and the
Tonight
last
on the
thing
big
too,
stage.
when that put Jordan Bell in an awkward situation when he first got here, because if you remember, Jordan Bell was a teammate on the Warriors with those guys, and he's also a good friend and a former teammate of Dylan Brooks.
Shout
So-
out, listen to the Just Grizzlies podcast.
There you go.
Yesterday's episode was
Jordan Bell,
and he talks
absolutely.
about Dylan Brooks. So
Yes.
sorry
Yes.
to
Love
interrupt
that
you.
plug, baby.
Plug myself.
So that was an interesting dichotomy and a dynamic right there. But look, these guys are young; they're growing through it, and it's been a blast to see them grow through this process.
All right, guys. Enough about that. Let's move on to the next 2 home games because that's what's important. That's why you're wearing this T-shirt.
Yes,
Among other things.
among other things.
The next 2 games, back-to-back against Sacramento and the Lakers one more time. If we are able to split those 2 games, like obviously if we win both, it's a success. If we're able to split them, is that still considered a success? Like, what do you consider a success in the next 2 home games?
I think a split is an ideal situation because you still have that bitter taste in your mouth from the Kings game last week, and obviously the Lakers. Shout out to the Lakers for getting that dub last night, though. Appreciate that.
Over the Pelicans?
Over the Pelicans.
Yeah, that's
Shout
big.
out.
That's
Thank
big.
you.
Thank you.
But Saturday, it's a big game for the city. We know financially it's a big game for the city because anytime the Lakers come in the building, it's a madhouse.
Yeah.
So I think a split would be ideal. I want to get a little bit of payback on the Kings.
Well, I mean, 2 wins would be ideal.
2 wins would be super dope back to back. But I think for me, thinking realistically, I would love 2 wins. Two memes I can put out,
Meme God.
But I want to get this win over the Kings for multiple reasons. 1, because I want to repay De'Aaron Fox. 2, just want to pay him back. Harrison Barnes is not going to shoot 1,000% again, is he? And number 3, from my standpoint, I told you this. The Sacramento Kings are one of the best social media teams in the league. They get memes off on everybody, and I would love to get a meme off on them because they got one on us in Sacramento.
See, young guys, they want to get back. That's what they want.
Yeah, we want to get back. We want to get back in every way possible. We want to get back.
Now, guys, tell me.
I
What's
say
the success?
we're coming home off a really rough trip. I think we need to win both of these games. Of course, we all want them to win. I'm just gonna put the good vibes out there. I'm gonna put the good spirit out there. Get the form rumbling. Unfortunately, when the Lakers come to town, you see a lot of those yellow jerseys out there.
Yes.
Gold. They might prefer gold. Give them gold. But I want to see him win both of these games and just really light up the form, light up Beale Street. Let's just do it. Let's just go in.
Mike, quickly, what's a success?
I think realistically, a success is getting a split. You need to stop the bleeding, especially if you take an L tonight in Houston. You got to get a win. You got to get a win to maintain yourself. You split it, beat Sacramento. Hard-fought loss against the Lakers. You got to live with that. And most importantly, celebrate HBCU night Friday. Pack the building. We know you're going to be there Saturday.
Let's go!
Pack the building Friday night. Represent your HBCU sorority, fraternity. All of it is going to be one big party. No matter where you come from, no matter what school you went to, come party with us.
And you're going to have 2 OGs on the front row, so you got to show out in front of them.
Oh, yeah.
2 OGs will be in the building.
Oh, yeah.
You know that form's going to be rocking when the 2 OGs are there.
Are you allowed to say what you're talking about or no?
I'll just say 2 OGs. That's all I'm saying.
2 Grizzlies OGs.
Yeah, 2 legends in Grizzlies lore.
And it's not Mike Wallace and Devin Walker.
Exactly. Gang, gang.
Although we'll be there.
We will be there. I'll be there.
Thank you guys for coming today. I appreciate all 3 of you being here. Thank you for tuning in to Talkin Grizz. We'll be back next week.